Hello, welcome to the Open Notes podcast. Our study group includes me, Nora Mortimer, Kiana Gearhart,
Hello.
and Angela Thompson.
Hi.
Our guest today is the co-owner of UITAC herself, Angela Thompson. Today is February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day. Very, very late. But I hope you had a good celebration, and grab a snack and your notebook. Let's get ready to study. So, we can start with talking about our Zoom backgrounds. Like mentioned, this is being filmed on Valentine's Day, so I think we're all pretty in our Zoom backgrounds. But Angela, can you explain why you chose this background specifically?
Because it's Valentine's Day. That's really the only reason. And this is my husband and I, we don't actually do Valentine's Day. Most couples that I know who've been married a long time don't do Valentine's Day. So this is this is it for Valentine's Day for me, and I'm perfectly fine with Valentine's. Is way too expensive. And so I thought, okay, let me be festive, and our topic is kind of weddings, so it works. So here you go. Happy Valentine's.
Yeah. And then Kiana, what about you?
I thought I didn't even think that it was going to be Valentine's Day when we filmed this. But when I was looking at Angela's resume, I saw all the wedding related stuff. So I thought maybe try to do more of a invitation card to a wedding. So Open Notes podcast, you're invited to study with us type deal. So that's what I did for my Zoom background. What about you, Nora?
I chose one that I chose when we first started this. I had 5, and so I'm just kind of going through the cycle. But today seemed the best because I just killed 3 plants over the week. I was at somebody else's house staying with them for the week, and before that I sprayed pesticides and water with pesticides in it, so it was diluted. And I got it on some of the leaves of the plants, and so they are wilting and coming off. So I wanted a nice full tree, even though I lost 3 of my plants.
No, I'm so sorry to hear that.
I know. I was just plucking off leaves before the podcast, and I was like, this is sad.
It's very sad.
Very. So that is my Zoom background. But yeah, I didn't think about Valentine's Day like you did, Angela.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Valentine's Day is definitely overrated. But it kind of shocked me when you said that you don't really celebrate Valentine's Day, especially because your focus it seems to be weddings and this concept of love. But I guess can you tell us about your educational background and then maybe your journey into being an instructor?
Sure. Let's see. So I got my undergrad at Wellesley in sociology and English, and then took a year off to figure out what I wanted to do, and decided I didn't want to work at City Court Mortgage. So I went back to graduate school and got my master's in women's studies and sociology and my doctorate in sociology. I started teaching early 1991 or 92, something like that. So I've been teaching a long time. And it just is, sometimes I tend to fall up into things, right? So with my master's degree, they just had started the master's program. And they had a PhD program at the school I was at, but they just started master's. And I just happened to have all but one class. And they're like, well, go ahead and get your master's. I'm like, okay. So I fell up into that. I was taking horseback riding lessons at a community college down the street from where I was going to school. And I got off a horse one day and somebody said, "Hey, don't you have a master's?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I just got it. Well, would you mind? Need somebody to teach an intro to sociology class." And I'm like, "Okay." So that's how I got into teaching. So I kind of I think I have very good luck. I fall up into things, and so I haven't looked back since. I thoroughly enjoyed being in the classroom and teaching, and the fundamentals of teaching back in the 90s versus today haven't changed much. Theories kind of stay theories, but the approach to it has changed drastically. And so that's kind of been an interesting development with all the technology and stuff like that. But yeah, that's kind of how the journey started. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know you fell into that. That's very nice, very lucky. But what was kind of the difference between higher education in the North and then in the South? Like it stays consistent through time, but does it stay consistent in regions?
No,
Okay.
just differences in terms of not only the student population. The Northeast, I was in the Boston area. There are so many colleges and universities. It's just, it's a lot. So there's a lot of that academic atmosphere to feed off of. Whereas when I moved to Texas, not as many. There's still more in North Texas than in some other parts of the country. But there was just also a change in tone. So, for example, in Boston, that's not too far from Salem. So I had a few witches as students there. I was okay with it. They were okay with it. And it just was, all right, there you go. It's kind of a matter of fact. When I started teaching in Texas, we were going to talk about what was it? Um, Family in class, something like that. And I had some students bring in Bibles, and I had to tell them, no, no, this is a social problems from a sociological standpoint. Please don't. We're not going to analyze it biblically. And so just a different mindset in terms of student body. Also, a big difference between community college and a private institution. I actually really like teaching students at community colleges because they've had so much real world experience. It makes a huge difference when you can really apply sociology to people's lives as opposed to showing somebody a video and saying, this is what hunger looks like. And they've never actually experienced it. So just there are some differences, even though the fundamentals of sociology stay pretty much the same.
Interesting. I kind of had the same thing, but from like a lower level education.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting to see how that kind of bleeds into different types of universities.
Mhm.
But yeah, what made you pursue a second career? Was it just you needed instructional material for your own classes, or like what led to publishing?
That was another one of those. Angela's at the right place at the right time. My co-author at the time had been doing some work with Pearson Publishing and helping another person with revise a textbook. And that person decided they didn't really want to do it anymore. And so Pearson decided they really didn't want to, work with him anymore, but offered my co-author the opportunity to do his own textbook. And he decided he didn't want to do it alone. And our offices were right next door. And he gave me a call and said, "Hey, how would you feel about doing a textbook?" And I'm like, okay. I mean, part of luck in life is just saying yes to what comes to you. And so I said, okay, sure. And that was at this point, what, 15 years ago, I guess. And so yeah, that's how I got into it. I mean, I had never written anything beyond dissertation and academic papers. And so it was a big learning curve, but I like learning, so it worked out well.
I think maybe I feel like you're brushing off your accomplishments but I
Hmm.
think luck is where opportunity and hard work meet. So you
Well, there
worked
is
hard
hard
to get where
work.
you were.
No,
So
there is absolutely hard work. I don't want to discredit that, but that's not really the fun part of the story. I mean, my
yeah.
dissertation was sitting in a dark apartment with one light on with me and my cat, sitting there just writing and going for it. But that's not the fun part of anything. It's just kind of the being willing to sit down and do the work.
Mhm.
That's I've had people ask me, okay, uh, how did you get your doctorate? How do you be successful? And I said, there isn't a magic pill. You just got to sit down and do the work. I mean, so. Mhm.
Wow. Well, I'd say as a student, a recent college graduate, I've always been curious as to how instructors structure their classes.
Mhm.
So, how do you develop your courses and
Mhm.
teach them, like how to plan to teach them? And which of those courses are your favorite?
Huh. My general goal in life, professionally, is to help people see the gray areas. Students are often way too black and white, and they come in with their parents having molded their perspective on life. But life is way more gray than that. And so, what can I do to make them see the gray area? To say there aren't necessarily easy answers. And so I teach classes the way I would like to learn. I want to have fun learning. I want to make those connections to all the other aspects of life and sociology and see how we can weave this all together. And so it classes generally start off with what am I interested in at the moment? Right? If I'm interested in it, I do a way better job teaching it than I'm not. I mean, I taught a sociology of theory class. I made it interesting, but boy, I am not that was not the class for me. And same thing, I did a research methods class. I can do it, but I want to have a fun time learning, and I think learning should be fun. I heard somebody say the other day that if they see somebody excited about leaving school and saying, thank God I don't have to learn anymore, ooh, that's a problem because life is the process of learning, right? So I generally create classes around topics I'm interested in. So sociology of food, I was into food history and manners and all those kind of things and learning about food culture. And so that's how that class came about. Harry Potter class. Well, I was into really all the Harry Potter world and seeing it as its own world and said, okay, let's look at this sociologically. Same thing with sociology of leisure. I really wanted a vacation. So let's look at leisure and vacation opportunities and how people deal with and interact with and approach leisure. So it really is an exploration of the topics I'm interested in more than anything else, and kind of bringing everybody else along for the ride, knowing that I'm going to learn so much more from them. I don't approach topics from the perspective that I'm going to teach them everything there is to know. I can't research everything there is to know, but I can assign presentations. And they will tell me more. I get to learn from them. And that makes it a way more interesting experience. They get to explore whatever aspect they're interested in, and I get to learn from them. At a certain point in time, I get kind of tired of a topic, and then I just don't teach it anymore. Find something else to teach. Mhm. Yeah.
What's been the best piece of information that you've learned from a student?
Hmm. Um, I don't know, because I've learned so much from them over the years. I have learned they have taught me about the gray areas. So when you give them the essay, okay, do the balance perspective of something, and they go do a presentation and present both sides, then I learn about the gray areas. I think I've just learned tons. I enjoy what I do because I get to learn in the process. If you take yourself off, I mean, as a sage on the stage, there are some foundational stuff that you present. So everybody's working from the same foundation. But when I step back from that and get to see them approach the material, then I'm always learning something from them. I can't think of one thing one time where I'm not learning something from them. Mhm.
Do you learn anything when writing products for UTAC?
Mm. Yes. Yes. So I do. So when I did the engagement package, I learned aspects about seniors, for example, and the family with seniors. That was very interesting and informative because my parents are seniors. So I learned about that. And when I'm writing blogs, yeah, there's always learning, and it helps kind of piece together what's going on in the larger world. So I'm learning, and it's a constant practice of applying the key terms and the theories to the larger world. So yeah, no, absolutely. And then a real joy, I have to say, has been reading intern blogs. It's so cool to see someone else's thought process and someone else making the connections and me just going, wow, that's really interesting. Everybody should see and read this because this is important information. So yeah, I definitely learn from other people's work. Mhm.
What would be a few topics of your own or blogs of your own and blogs of interns that you would kind of plug and promote?
Let's see, the Barbie one on doing research a couple of years ago at this point. Only because I don't care for research all that much, and so it was nice to have that vehicle to plug with that. Sophia did some really interesting work on um, the criminal justice system, and I think that's particularly timely, and something that people really need to pay attention to. And simply because I'm a family sociologist, anybody who writes anything about family always kind of sticks out. I mean, there are the fun blogs, about um, everything from, sports to just kind of random things, and the award shows, the red carpet. I wrote a red carpet blog at one point in time. Those are fun. But I tend to just generally get excited about anything that has to do with family. And so anything associated with family or the community of family, I get go, ooh, that's cool.
I just think, well, since I'm in a different department than in content and writing blogs, I agree with you about the wrongful convictions by Sophia. It was such an insightful read. And I think because we have such a diverse range of authors on the UTAC and the News blog website, from interns to like adjunct professors to full-time professors, and Nora too. I don't know where content manager. Just reading like all of those different perspectives, it's it makes, like you said, it's a really good way for me to know about the gray areas. I really like that quote that you have, to know about the gray. Yeah.
The gray areas. I mean, most of us we live our life in the gray areas. We are kind of, you know, we always have some exception to the rule. The rule may exist, but our lives are actually often, the exception to the rule, even on, little things, that we have to give each other grace because somebody else's gray area might not be my gray area, but it's still a gray area, and just give each other grace on it, and move on. So,
Well, now that you said that, um, how can like your social science background, which is pretty expansive. When I was looking at your resume, I was like, whoa, Southwest, like consultant to Martha Stewart. How can this broad background in a way impact the view on social problems and current events?
A really good question. I think my background and the things that I've done have continually reinforced the fundamentals of sociology as being important. And that all of these different things come down to the fundamentals of sociology. And in whatever avenue or area you're talking about, I think the fundamentals of sociology can be used to make people's life experience better, right? That's really what, if we can all just work to try to make each other's life experience better. And I think sociology can help us as a tool to understand that, whether you're trying to understand the experience of a customer at Southwest Airlines or of a couple getting married and looking toward Martha Stewart for guidance. Fundamentally, you're talking about groups and organizations and people trying to improve their life experience. And I think sociology can help you do that. Whatever group, organization, anything you're looking at, unless you're really doing it completely solely by yourself, you're going to be in communication or connection with other people. And understanding others, I think that's where sociology can be applied, kind of across the board, to help us all have a better experience. I think if people would just be willing to have everybody try to have a better experience, I think we'd be in a good place. And so I don't know if that answers your question, Kiana, but that's kind of what comes to mind.
Yeah, I think it was an amazing answer that I think maybe a lot of people don't really know the value of sociology.
Mhm.
So I felt like your answer really enforced that yes, sociology is something that we should know because it is the study of society. And that's important, how we can communicate with each other. And even like maybe because we're all American, Angela's upbringing, my upbringing, and Nora's upbringing were probably completely different, even though we're under the same frame of
Mhm.
our birth country. So that sort of thing is like even within society, there are different, like I wouldn't say discrepancies, but different differences between all of us that isn't bad that we're all different.
Mhm.
But because we're different, that's great. That's good. But
Mhm.
why are we different? Like that.
And understanding how why these differences make us act the way we do to each other. If you get an idea of why people are behaving in a certain way, I think you are more likely to give them grace. So, for example, when I first went to Brandeis, I would be walking around a building or going to the cafeteria, and men would be walking past. Nobody would make eye contact. Nobody would look at me. People would look past me. Now, my cultural experience and background said, what the hell? Am I being discriminated against here? Who do I got to call? Well, if you understand that Brandeis is a Jewish university and the people who are walking past, many of the men were Orthodox men, they are not supposed to look at a woman who's outside of their particular family or group. Once I understood that, oh, okay, it's not me. It's just this is the norms of their culture. When you can understand those things, then you can put your experience into context or people's behavior into context. And it greatly changes the experience that you have when you can do something like that. So, yeah, I think it is important to understand why people are doing what they do. And sometimes what people are doing has nothing to do with you. It doesn't impact, it may you may think it is about you, but a lot of times it's not about you at all. Not as many people are paying attention to you as you think they are. So,
It's like that kind of brings in like the next question of like what is you said let people experience things that they want to. What is like an experience that you would promote to everyone, or at least like to try at least once? It could be like a wedding trend or something, just like what you see on social media that you're kind of like, oh yeah, maybe everybody should do that.
mm. Um, It'll take me a moment to think about something that's wedding related,
Yeah. Mhm.
but just broadly in life, I
Mhm.
think everybody should move away from home.
Mm.
Everybody should have the experience of living someplace else. Everybody should have the experience of being the other. Everybody, because that adjusts how you view your life and you view your community is when you can look at it from the outside. And if you can't move away from home, travel. Travel would be good. I think everybody should have an opportunity to do that, to just see a bigger perspective on the world. I mean, I guess if you're looking at it from a wedding standpoint, something similar would be to take a moment to learn about other cultures' wedding traditions. We often hold our wedding traditions as sacred. This is how we do things. But other people have their own sacred traditions as well. And just to see what people do, and to understand why they're doing it, or understand why you're doing what you're doing. So often people just do rituals and traditions because that's what everybody does, but they don't necessarily think back to or really understand the background or the meaning behind it. So,
I agree. I think like one of the best years of my past 5 years has been going away to college to LSU. I mean, Louisiana, but New Orleans and Shreveport itself, like that's such a big um, culture shock if you're just not used to it. It's such a different place in the United States, but it's fun. And as soon as you can immerse yourself in that, like learning all the different intricacies and the demographics, people are so like interesting to learn about. So yes, definitely leave the house, and kind of get out of your comfort zone to then push your comfort zone and make it bigger. I think that's really good advice.
Especially in the sense of looking at these different cultures as not wrong. I feel like a lot of the people that I've talked to, because they do things differently, it's wrong. And they shouldn't be doing that. Like, why are they doing that? You're wrong, that's sacrilegious, like those sorts of opinions. But to see, oh, they are different. And that's totally okay. Because they lived a different life than I have. So that's fine that they're different. And even though it's maybe wrong to you, that's their way of life. And it's not wrong to them. So to have an open mind, I think that's really important when traveling.
Yep, I agree completely. As long as nobody is trying to compel you to live the life they're living, there's nothing wrong with learning about it and experiencing it. And, it's not for you, okay, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong for them. Got clean underwear. That kind of just